All right, we're back. 4 guys, 1 film, and today we started the Before Trilogy. And if you don't know what the Before Trilogy is, it's a beautiful set of 3 films about falling in love. And today we saw Before Sunrise with Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy, and I feel like we all fell in love.
Oh. It's probably one of the greatest romance movies because I feel like it gives you romance, surprise, and spontaneity. Mm-hmm. And it all encases that in a 24-hour long night.
And I think it's... Go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say, it's beyond that, too. It's just so mundane in the best way possible.
I was like, yeah.
And, like, the exact... Like, it's like something where it's like, that could actually happen to me. That could have been me. I could experience that in life.
It's about 2 young adults just making, a spontaneous decision and, getting to know each other on a, very
deep
personal level, even though they're strangers.
Yeah, all within one day.
Yeah.
And they were both in a city that they didn't know. It was just like they met on the train and they felt the vibe, and Ethan Hawke just went in for the kill. He went, squawk!
He knew what to do. Yeah. I think what I really love about this movie is that, the 4 of us have very different experiences with like love, like romantic love. Yet we all were able to take something from it or mesh with it.
I think the reason we're all able to mesh with this because it's kind of like a fantasy. I think that everybody has, no matter if I think you're a female or male, that you're like, man, what if I meet that one person on the train one day and we just hit it off and I'm just traveling the world, or just something like that, because it's so romantic, like in every aspect of the movie.
Yeah, it's a beautiful way that they met, and I feel like we all kind of long for something like that, where it's like, oh shit, it's basically love at first sight, and comes out of something that you wouldn't expect.
Hey George, you gotta be careful what you're saying there, buddy.
Well, look, like Alexis said, we all have completely different experiences when it comes to relationships and love. Alexis literally married his high school sweetheart, which is, I feel like, something that not a lot of people can say.
Especially nowadays.
He's the only one that's married in this room, too.
The only one.
Yeah. And then, like, myself, I don't know, I was single for a long time. So something like this is, like, it's nice to see. And then Nick, I don't know, I think
he's also been in a very long-term relationship.
Yeah. I think this movie just speaks to every audience. I mean, whether you're in different stages of your life, I mean, I think everybody can agree that one day they want to be in a position like this where they can fall for someone completely. And just like, I think that first time kind of, it gives you that first time butterflies of like the idea of like, oh man, I remember what it was like to be. I mean, me and my girlfriend, we always called it the cupcake stage, where it's like everything's super cute and like it's like perfect, like a cupcake, like really like nicely decorated and shit like that.
Usually people call that the honeymoon phase.
Yeah,
I mean,
fucking hate cupcakes.
These guys made their own.
Hey, you know what?
Their own phrase.
Hey, that's
when
even
you're
cuter.
When you got cheeks like Nick, it's the cupcake phase.
Exactly. I got that cake.
Double cups.
Double cheeked up.
But like I said, I think it's just, and when I say mundane, I said it earlier, I mean it in the best way possible. It's just so normal, but like deep, and it just seems like at some points, like I almost felt like, remember the first time I watched this movie with Alexis, felt like I wasn't even watching a movie. It felt really weird.
We saw it at the Frida Cinema, one day.
All 3
event
movies.
Marathon.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
it was amazing, and like you just forget you're watching a movie. It almost feels like you're watching like a documentary about 2 people's lives. Like you forget this is Ethan Hawke, who's starting Training Day and all this other shit. You're like, no, this is just a guy who's going about his life and explaining the different stages of his romance with this woman.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that you and Alexis probably fell in love watching that trilogy
again.
I'm almost 100% certain I walked in on them making that.
By the end of that night, we were holding hands, eating tacos together.
Hey,
he was like, "Am I Knuff?"
I think we're all Knuff.
He definitely was Knuff after that.
Yeah, I think that's another thing that makes this movie so special is that we've seen so many like romantic films, and I think as a kid, I was always avoiding those films specifically because it seemed so gross to me, and it's not real. Those rom-coms or those straight up like Hallmark romance
this is
films.
real.
But like I think this is something you could do with your partner. Like
Yeah,
I've
absolutely.
done this with my partner when I've gone like to different places in the country. I'm like, and we're gonna stay over for a couple of nights. I'm like, hey, do you want to like do something similar? Like I meet you in the lobby or something, and then like I try like hitting on you again. It's something nice to do.
Role
Absolutely.
play, a little bit of role play.
Yeah.
Hater, I didn't see you as a type. Okay.
Hey.
Well, this gave me inspiration. This movie, like
This
like,
guy's a big romantic.
No, yeah, but Alexis is
6'4".
right. This doesn't like over, like it's not something that's unrealistic. Like this is, I
Absolutely.
mean, also the way that it ends. Spoiler alert! It's like they go their separate ways. You know,
yeah,
it's like
it's so real.
when you meet a stranger in a country that you don't know, and you're both only there for 24 hours. It's like, yeah, that's probably what's gonna happen. If you do fall in love, it's like, all right, well, this might be the last time you're gonna see this person.
It's
So.
like, well, we'll try to see each other in 6 months. I don't know.
Yeah, they're like screaming at each other, like, "Oh no, we want
Yeah.
to see each other again." But it's like, who knows? Most
Yeah.
of the times, people don't see each other again after something like
Mhm.
that. And I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen the trilogy, but
Oh,
Yeah.
we
seems
will.
like they
We will.
they
We
We
rekindle.
will.
And
Yeah.
those are the next couple episodes that are gonna be
Ooh.
rolled out here on the channel. So
Yeah, I'm very excited about that.
I mean, I think that speaks to me first of all. Like you know, as much as I try to break, I think the barrier of like what a man is supposed to be. I love rom-coms.
oh,
Fucking-
dude, 100%.
I will watch a rom-com over a horror movie any day of the week.
Rom-coms are some of my favorite movies.
Exactly,
Fucking
but-
Always Be My Maybe.
Well,
La
and
La
like anything,
Land,
I'd watch
Eternal
anything over a
Sunshine.
horror movie.
And I think as
Scott
a
Pilgrim.
like just to get a little bit more deep,
Yeah,
I think
that is a rom-com.
absolutely no. I think as a man, it's an easy release. Like I think we don't get a chance to release like our emotions as easily as when we
Oh,
see other
emotion.
people.
Oh, there was a release, all right.
Hey, some of us release from multiple places. You know, I'm talking about my
Spiritually,
heart.
spiritually.
I'm
Yeah.
talking about my heart.
Tears.
And it's
From
just
your
ju-
eyes.
like when I think about these movies and like it actually lets me think about the things in my life and the experiences I've had through the eyes of others and like the experiences of others, whether they're fictional people or real people. It's just nice to me to think like, hey, I'm able to picture my life and picture the decisions I've made and think about what I was doing right and wrong and which situations I can be better. These movies kind of allow that. But I like that this movie, unlike something like, for example, I love 50 First Dates as a rom-com movie, could never picture that being ever realistic in my life or
Oh, yeah.
anybody's life,
yeah.
to be honest. It was a beautiful movie, and I love watching that one. It's funny, it's great, but this movie, unlike that, like, they set a tone from the very beginning of how they talk, where it's like, yeah, this is just, like, this is crazy. Like, what are we doing here? Like, why did you even get up? Like, literally, like, as soon as they got off the train, and they got to that bridge, they're like, this is so awkward. Like, I don't even know what to
They
say.
didn't even know each other's name until
Yeah.
like
No.
halfway through the
Yeah,
movie.
actually,
yeah,
when they
after
got
the
off
train.
the train,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
like,
what was
what
your
was your name again?
Well, that's the thing, yeah, because a lot of movies don't capture this like in between moment of getting to
don't
know somebody.
Capture real human interactions. You know,
Yeah,
they
like we witness a human experience. you know?
Exactly.
And it's throughout the movie we see how, I guess you see how each person is cynical in their own way too. You see like their actual personality. You just don't see like, oh yeah, like we met together, we're gonna live forever, blah blah blah. Like that's,
Well, let's go through it.
yeah,
Because, you know, like in the train, like they're getting to know each other. It's a little awkward. And, you know, they share like very intimate stories about themselves. And I feel like Ethan Hawke's character, Jesse, I feel like he's a tryhard. He's trying to be like really cool and very like, yeah, you know, man, I mean, that's just how life is.
He's like, love, love
Yeah.
is, you know, and
Like,
then
I don't know
he's
about
avoiding
that.
he's
Yeah,
avoidant of the
absolutely.
questions, and he's just kind of like beating
Well-
around it. While she's very just kind of
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
hey,
Julie Delpy,
this is what I
Celine.
think, this is what I feel,
Mhm.
and like
I
you
feel like
know,
she's extremely sincere and
Yeah.
like she really means what she says, and you know,
Ethan-
maybe he's just avoiding like.
and I feel like Ethan's just trying to like, you know, how can I connect with her in her own world? Because I feel like he's not typically like that. He's like where he's trying to be like ultra methodical, where he thought about like the original,
Philosophical and
like
everything,
the
yeah.
original humans. That like, are they like? Do you believe in reincarnation? Just like
Mhm.
he's really going for this mysterious person, which I don't feel like he is. He's a very on the surface like regular white dude.
But I think it
he's
does.
a little bland compared to
I
her.
think it does speak to though, like what he was going through. I mean, Celine mentioned 6 months ago she had her boyfriend. It's been 6 months,
And he just got dumped.
and he just got dumped. So, and I think that if
probably why.
I have to think about like if I was in Europe trying to visit a girlfriend, and I come to Europe, I fly, I spend how much money at 23 years old that must have been for him? How much of his savings to
He saved the whole spring for it.
exactly,
Yeah.
and then he gets there to realize that it was for nothing, kind of. Like I'd have to imagine I'd have my own philosophical kind of journey at that point and be like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know what life is about. What was the point of this? What is the point of anything really? Like I could picture that being me, kind of. I don't know if I'd be as douchey about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because he was kind of douchey.
That's right up your alley.
He was like, I'm just not here to read Hemingway on the train. I'm like,
In
okay.
France,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, why you gotta be a dick?
I think the first time I watched the movie, which was like years ago, I didn't catch how douchey he was. And over time, I see it like, oh, he's trying to be this way, he's trying to be that way.
Yeah.
And I think too, like, I don't know, I think maybe I saw this like 5 years ago, and I was, I don't know, like 21, closer to like their age.
Yeah.
And so now that I'm older, you know, I can see like, oh,
You
Like,
see the you know,
yeah.
they're young, like
Yeah,
they're
and so as we get
still
older,
fertile.
watching these, you know, like we relate with certain things, and we realize, oh, like that's
Because the second movie is completely different in terms of the tone.
yeah. I mean, it's 10 years later.
It's
They're
10 years
in
later.
their 30s.
Yeah.
I
the
mean, there's
actual
definitely-
actors are in their 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's
There's definitely something cynical, you know, in comparison between the two. Because like even that scene where she's, well, actually he says that, you know, people grow old and they get tired of one another, and then like he's like, don't you hate that you know exactly what every person's gonna say when you know them to that level? And then she's like, I find the beauty in that. She's like, I like
that's
it
how
so
she
much.
truly knows love.
Yeah,
She's in love with someone.
that's how she knows love, and he's like the opposite of that. He's like, I think that's horrendous.
And
Like,
again, that speaks to me in my head of like where you're at the stage of a breakup. So 6 months later, you know, you can again feel passion, feel love, feel like the burning desire to be wanted by another human being and want another human being. But right afterwards, like you can't help but think, like even when he said, "Oh my gosh," I told you, I was like, that shit was deep. When he was like, you know, when you're breaking up with people, you know, you don't even realize like that you don't care. You're like, oh, I'm not even thinking about you. And now all of a sudden that you're the one who's broken up with, you have to remember what you felt in that moment. And you have to realize that that person who just broke your heart is feeling the exact same way.
yeah, he's
Like
like
they're ready to move
don't-
on.
Yeah.
They don't even care.
Yeah.
They're
That's
just
how
glad
little
that
of me
you're
they
gone.
think of.
Yeah. It's such
Yeah.
such
It
amazing.
doesn't. Yeah, it
But
doesn't
I-
really matter when you're on the giving end, but when you're on the receiving end of that, it's like you really.
brother.
Yeah.
Oh God.
It's tough connect with boys.
Mhm. Yeah, and so yeah, like jumping on that, like there's a lot of beautiful conversations in this movie. A side of it feels a little pretentious because they're so young, like
And
they
and they're
don't
just
really
trying
know
to and
anything.
and yeah, they're just trying to be sophisticated. They're trying to like one up each other kind of a little
Yeah,
bit.
But like when we were their age, you know, like weren't we the same?
Trying to
Yeah, I
find
mean that's
ourselves,
exactly
yeah.
the kind of conversation you want to
Yeah.
have with someone, a stranger, because it's like it's obviously first interactions are huge. It's
Mhm.
like you want to make an impression that lasts, and I feel like that's what his character was trying to do, whereas she was more just like being genuine and like this is.
Actually, that reminds me. There's this old conversation that you and I had when we were in high school with another friend that I like accidentally recorded, and our conversations are essentially just like this, like us trying to be philosophical and like trying to understand the world and. you
Who's
know.
the other friend?
I mean, we don't need to talk. About
I already know exactly what he's talking about. But no, we did have a lot of conversations like that when we were younger. I mean,
Mhm.
but we were even younger than that. We were like
Yeah,
in
we
our
were-
like 18,
yeah,
17,
16
whatever.
to 18, whatever. Yeah.
Well, I think
Um,
it speaks to too, like the idea of being like in your early 20s, and you know, this is from someone who's barely reaching their late 20s, technically. You know, all four of us in the room, but I feel like you try to find the answers to life. You try to tell yourself, like, you know, what is all the necessities that I need to solve, and all the things that I need to realize, all the important factors that I need to kind of determine before I can truly go through my life and picture myself growing old and being a successful human being, not just like in my career, but in my emotions and everything. And like now that you get a little bit older, you slowly, I feel like you start to realize like you don't need to unpack all the mysteries of life. You don't need to determine all the crazy philosophical like conundrums that have happened before us. Like all you just need to do is live life day by day and enjoy it. I mean, Celine talked about that with the guy that she said that she grew older, where he eventually realized he was a very successful businessman, but he never actually poured his heart and soul and gave anything into anybody.
Oh, that's
never-
right. With the 53-year-old
Yeah.
guy that she was talking to.
And it's true. Like at some points, like, you know, money or other kind of like difficult but, you know, realistic things kind of get in the way of remembering like, hey, I need to feel something sometimes and not let that get in the way of, you know, me making other decisions because all of a sudden like I need to focus more on finances or other stuff.
Yeah. Well, see, that just goes back to the palm reader. You know, like she just says, we're all stardust. We're all made of the same shit. We're all just, you know, we all came from the same, whatever, Big Bang. Or, you know, like
Yeah.
we are what we are.
Yeah, and
So
it's
it's not-
beautiful,
it's not
but he
that
chose to not
complicated.
see it that way.
Yeah, he
Like,
was very like it's
He's
all
like,
bullshit.
and
She
she's
just took
like,
your
no,
money."
it's something so like, I mean, it feels nice to think that no matter what, we're all just made of stars. And
First of
it's
all,
beautiful.
God created the world. Okay, I don't know what you guys are on about evolution over there. Crazies.
Sorry, science. Sorry, that's science.
George, we're not bringing religion into this, okay?
We're bringing love,
Love, okay.
into this.
No, dude.
Jesse's friend
can't be
was an
stardust.
atheist, okay, and he gave $100. He didn't give $100 bill. To
Oh,
a
that was
homeless
a
Oh,
man.
that was
fucked
a
up
messed up
story.
story.
That was
That he
yeah.
said in the church.
In the church.
In the church.
Yeah, no. The story about the homeless guy begging. He's like, "Do you believe in God?" No. All right. Fuck
Too
you
bad.
then.
Wrong answer.
Wrong
Wrong
answer.
answer. There's something about this movie that just really captures what it's like to what's the other word for not quite
Infatuated?
infatuated.
Yeah.
It's an infatuation.
But you know what? I think that changes as the movie goes on, because I feel like towards the end of the movie they were in love with each other. They liked the idea.
No, they were in
Of-
love with the idea of them being together, but they don't know them. They don't know each other well enough to.
I
say
think
that
I
they're
agree
in
with
love.
George on that. I think it wasn't like I think they were starting to love what could be more
Yeah.
than anything. And
Mm,
and that's
yeah.
where like even towards the end, again, the spoiler alert being like they had made a compromise that they were not going to talk to each other after this. That this was a one night deal, and they broke it because they felt that they were like, this could be something. We're
It's
in
the
6 months we're gonna make.
anticipation of love. Yeah.
I'm curious, like, you know, I think about the movie and we talk about how realistic it is. You know, there's a couple things that kind of piss me off about how not realistic it is. I know, Alexis, you just talked about it. You're like, man, I wonder if we go to Vienna right now, is it going to be that
Oh, yeah.
beautiful? Because the setting is gorgeous. Old, you know, Europe. I mean, it's, you know, it's the best parts of it, but it kind of pisses me off to sometimes be in this 2020s and, you know, the future as it comes, where population density is so high that I will never find myself in
Mhm.
a secluded place
Yeah,
with the person
it was
that I
so
love.
peaceful over there. It's like wherever they went, there was maybe like 10 people around them.
Yeah, absolutely.
All in their own space, you know?
But no, I think that's still possible. It just is not in a romantic ass setting as Vienna, where like you have the whole city to yourself.
And that's the
It-
frustrating
it's
part,
like-
yeah.
You never know. You might go to that one village in the English countryside, and like there's not that many people, and
I also
You fall
don't think
in
it's necessarily about the setting. It's about the person.
The person.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
I think like, for example, like I had a chance to go on a romantic getaway with my girlfriend to Joshua Tree, and it's like, but it is one of those things where it's like sometimes I don't know. I try not to take myself out of the moment, but like realizing like when you're looking up at the stars and there's no light, and you're just like, man, this moment is great, but then realizing that like literally not 20 feet later there's an Airbnb right next to me where they're probably fucking trying to have the same romantic philosophical questions and answers and shit like that, and you're just like, fuck, like why do I take myself out of this moment and
He's
think
such
about
a
other things?
Jesse.
Just-
He's such
ju-
a
you're
Jesse.
I know
such a
you're
Jesse,
fucking
bro.
cynic,
So
dude.
cynical.
Just enjoy it for fucking
And
face
that's what
value, Nick.
100%. That's what I try to do.
I mean, I think that you take yourself out of that experience by even, indulging in those thoughts, because it's
well,
like the
I
reality
will.
is.
I'm proud to say I did not do that in the moment. I'm just saying, like, I think about those things now, where it's like, I want to experience those places. Like, you hear all these people talk about those romantic getaways where, like, oh my gosh, it was just me and my partner under the stars,
Yeah.
and there wasn't a single soul next to you, and like, you always like crave, and like this is what I'm saying about these movies, that sometimes it sucks. It's like you crave that, like, shit, like I want that experience. I want that more than anything else. Like, I'm gonna be the one who finds a way to reenact like all of our first dates and shit, like in certain movies, or tell my girl that I love her and kiss her, like in the rain and stuff like that, and there's not gonna be a soul around her or whatever it is. Like,
Yeah.
But
But look
but I think what makes those moments in our head is being like just disappearing from the world. Like you can. I feel like not necessarily it has to be like a lot of people, but you could be in a strange town somewhere you never been with, and still have that feeling where like I feel all alone. Nobody's looking at me. I don't know nobody for miles or hours.
Mhm.
You could create that bubble.
It's
You
in
know,
your
Actually,
head.
Yeah.
that reminds me. I had a moment like that when I went to Big Island, and I was wearing these shorts.
Oh
Oh,
shit!
I'm wearing shorts, boys.
Yeah, I
I'm
still see
wearing
the
shorts.
stain. Yeah, it's,
But I remember we went to this like random ass restaurant over there, like called like Pineapples or some shit, and we were just like chilling, like having a good snack and or a good dinner, and we head out, and it's like raining, man, but it's like that misty rain, at night.
oh,
And
nice.
there's like neon lights all around, and nobody's walking on the streets, and you just like can hear the rain and just the cars kind of flying by, and it's just like my wife and me. Like
Beautiful.
this is our moment.
Beautiful.
Like we're in this little bubble where time doesn't really matter because we're just experiencing,
each other.
Yeah, exactly. And that's pretty much like the movie, right? Like we didn't go through an entire day. We didn't meet each other for the first time, but that's the feeling.
Time stops when I'm with you, bud. You know that?
Wow,
It's because you're Knuff.
you're Knuff. We're Knuff.
Oh my god.
We're all Knuff, and I
No,
think
that's beautiful. I also do think that some movies like this do set unrealistic expectations when it comes to stuff like that. Like look at La La Land. Fucking, they're literally singing and dancing at the Griffith Observatory.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know
like
if
no fucking way.
anyone that fucking listens and knows the fucking LA, that's not happening. Like, there's
How many homeless guys would you have to walk over to be honest?
you'd have to fight at least 3 homeless people.
It's hard to get parking
try to
there.
get-
Dude, and yeah, parking? Are you kidding me?
And then you gotta
Fucking
walk
shit.
to the Griffith. Like, you'd be sweaty.
They
Absolutely.
drove right into it. It's
Yeah.
fucking crazy.
that
You
does
would-
not happen.
That doesn't happen in real life. So,
And it's just, yeah.
but that is one of the things that I think that this
Actually,
movie
for me, that's
highlights.
happened before.
Isaac, get the fuck
No,
out of
I
here.
swear to God. So I went with Michelle Christmas night. There was literally the park was open.
1995.
No, this is like a year ago.
Yeah.
Like, no, 2 years ago now.
Circa
And-
2019, bro. I mean, like fucking.
Hey,
during
but 2 years
COVID,
ago,
or
yeah,
what was
COVID
it?
is a different
during
story.
COVID.
Nobody was out during COVID, so you got lucky.
Yeah, I was.
COVID and Christmas. Yeah, I mean,
Dude, there was no. It was beautiful because like it was around like 9:30 at night. We decided like fuck it, let's go. And I'm like, man, I gotta let's do it. I'm gonna work some-
spontaneous.
It's one of-
Check.
it's one of-
Spontaneous
Ga-
check.
Gators are romantic,
Dude,
bro.
I am.
Oh, yeah,
Hey.
it's big time.
I love
Michelle
that
will say
about him.
otherwise, but I feel like I am.
No.
I love that about him. But
So-
let's get back to the movie a little bit.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, I think with this kind of
Yeah,
movie, it
cut
does.
my fucking story.
I know. I
Have
thought
you-
Isaac had a story.
I had
here.
a whole
well,
fucking.
well,
story.
Nick said fuck his story, so I was like, all right, we might as well
He's
just
gonna
keep
keep doing
going.
that to him.
You know what? This is why we pick on you, Nick. Okay? You do your stupid shit.
Can you let me fucking finish my thought?
That's
Jesus
how I
Christ.
felt. No, that's how I felt.
Now
They-
you're telling a romantic story, Gator.
This is a romantic.
Gator. Who you trying to sell
Yes.
to?
Okay, fuck you guys. Okay.
No. But what I was gonna say is like this movie. I'm glad that it sets a realistic like expectation of reality when it comes to like meeting strangers and falling in love and all that. Similar like to 500 Days of Summer, how it shows all the negative attributes of a relationship, which is real. You know, like falling in
the
and out of
different
love.
perspectives, because in that story, he didn't see how he was the bad guy. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like it's nice to see that type of thing and ground you a little bit, and also find the commonality when it comes to the human
balance.
experience. You know,
The balance, I think.
yeah.
There are some other movies similar to this, which came before, by this director called Eric Romer, and it's like titled like Tale of Springtime, Tale of Summer, and those are pretty good, but it's like a little too European. Where
Oh, okay.
it's you know, like I feel like this one has like some magic, and that one's more like very straight to the point.
Because I know this movie was done like in like 2-3 days, right? Some crazy schedule.
Was it? No way.
I think so.
It must have taken like a week or something.
Dude, they
Well,
were
we-
wearing the same clothes, obviously.
Well, we read into it, and it was no improvisation, which like it's kind of crazy to me. Like, but at the same time, it makes a lot of sense. The idea of like, hey, these guys can have such like passionate conversations. Like, you honestly start to think like, was this whole movie one take? Like, did they even stop?
Dude, the chemistry was
Like, 'cause
amazing.
Off the charts.
Yeah.
But
the
and I
charts.
think that's what I was gonna say is that's where it makes the most sense that you can't improvise, because the director writer, they have to have had such an experience like this that they knew exactly how to write it from the get-go. And if Ethan Hawke, especially that early in his career,
Yeah.
same with Celine, them being so young, if they would have tried to improvise that, I feel like the chemistry would have been
It would
off.
have messed it up. Yeah, I did mention this before the pod, but I believe the director himself, Richard Linklater, did have an experience just like this, where he met a
okay.
woman, and you know, obviously they had like a perfect night, that this and that, but when he followed up on it, he found out that she had passed away. Like, I don't know if it was shortly after, but like not too long after.
Holy shit, that's heavy.
Dude, but imagine like I'm pretty sure like none of us really have had any experience like that. But imagine going through that and you, let's say we actually one of us went to Europe just to be like to backpack for like a month or so,
Yeah.
a month, right? And then,
I like my story.
And then you have that encounter, dude. Imagine you go.
No,
back
no,
to the
I
States.
think that the way that I met my girlfriend was pretty cool. I like the story. I think it was. a
George, we're
little
not
bit-
talking about that, okay?
No, I know. I didn't have an
But he
experience
wants to.
out in like
So
fucking.
fuck my story, but it's just
Yeah, second time.
Yeah,
Second
second
time. Fuck Isaac's story.
Yes.
You literally all you said is that none of us have had an experience like that. And I'm like, nah.
I've
mean,
had an experience like
I mean,
this.
I've had
Same.
Yeah.
motherfuckers.
So Isaac's just upset.
All right, well, hey, I
because he
want to
has
hear you
it.
guys' story.
Nah,
I like
no,
the
no,
magic is
no.
over, okay?
We're gonna focus on this. I mean,
yeah. I
Nah,
mean,
come on, for the record, but
Nah, man.
All right,
Nah,
Nick,
I'm
Nick,
married.
any takers?
We need to focus. I want to talk about this more than anything because, like, one of the things I wanted to ask you guys actually, like, I'm not gonna lie, the first time I watched this, like, it kind of fucked me up a little because I was like, I've never fallen in love. I feel like with not just characters, but like, Because at first I
think it was that you never fall in love. I was
no,
like,
no. Like
That's
You
what
were-
I was like, God damn.
You guys
Destiny
were
would have
talking-
came in
Yeah, you're-
running,
yeah.
dude.
That's
no, you guys talked about it like at first as like falling in love with just Celine, but no, actually I've never fallen in love with two other characters' romance, and like The Notebook is actually a fucking great movie, dude. I'm not gonna pretend like it's not.
I wasn't a huge fan. That was
But
one of the
it's-
ones I was like,
Hey,
Stop being a
Gosling.
fucking
It's-
instigator and
it's
say you
not
like
for-
the movie.
It's not for
Motherfucker, I
everybody, and I'm
didn't like
appreciative
it.
of that.
I enjoyed it.
But
Yeah.
here's what I'm gonna say
It's
is that
too-
even
it's
with
too
the
perfect. for
exactly,
me.
I was gonna say
I
is The
can't.
Notebook felt too perfect at times, so I couldn't fall in love with their
But
relationship.
that's point is to be
100%. But that wasn't realistic enough for me to be
Okay.
like that's
Valid.
something I can ever
We're
picture.
not all
myself.
romantics like Gator, you know?
Yeah.
Amen.
But
Like-
with this movie,
Mhm.
it hit something where I was like, holy shit, like this is something that I feel like I felt with my girlfriend. This is something that I feel like I feel when I'm in this space of like finally letting, like you said, like the cynicism, finally letting all that shit go and actually enjoying the moment. That's how I feel, and that's what I imagine those nights are. And that's what I imagine their experiences were when they were like writing this story and thinking about the story, and when the director was talking about his experiences. And so like, I was kind of curious what moments for you guys too, like kind of gave you the most like, oh shit.
I
you know?
really
like
like
what-
the fact that they're young, like, just fucking, they're just seeking for love and affection, and they're young and broke, because
I don't know. I don't think the
I
chick
was
was broke
definitely-
and she was paying for everything.
well, no,
bro.
I mean, he was, like, there's
Yeah.
certain scenes where
He's
this
like, "Buy me a beer?"
motherfucker, he's like, I don't have any money, and he's
Yeah.
like, but regardless, it's like,
We're gonna have a
they're
good
still
time.
trying to, they're making it work and having a great time, and I've definitely been there, like, as a young, broke individual, where I'm just like, it's not about the money or the luxuries or all those things, it's about the experience and, who you share it with.
It's
So-
about capturing that time.
Yeah,
Exactly. Like literally,
absolutely.
he's over there talking to the bartender. He's like, "Give me your address, please. I promise you, I will mail you the money. I just want a good night with this lovely lady, and
I
she
need a
wants
bottle
a
of
bottle of
wine."
wine." Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
I don't
bartender
have
doesn't
any money
even
to
give
pay.
the address because he believes in love like that. And that
Yeah,
was
I
just-
think
It's
he
romantic.
looks at it and he's like, you know what? He's like, I usually wouldn't, do this, but it's like,
It's like, what's a bottle of red wine?
I
you know?
see
Like
where
10
you're. I
bucks.
see where
Yeah.
position you're in, young man, and like, I'll help you out.
that was a great scene, George.
And I think like we're at their age, we can relate. I wonder how we'll feel when we're like 40 or
And then
50
we'll-
watching this movie.
Or
again.
I think
We'll
not
feel
even-
like the before
not even
midnight.
dude. I don't think even crazy. Like in 5 years' time, when we're their same age in the second film,
Oh, and Before Sunset.
yeah, and before, imagine feeling that like crazy.
Yeah.
Let's
man.
rewatch it then and see how we
Right.
feel.
We
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know where our relationships are gonna be at that point, or what kind of people we'll be. But I hope we look at it and kind of like, yeah, man, like I've been there. That felt good. Versus like, oh, I wish I had that again.
But I don't ever want to make an effort to just be nostalgic. I want to be nostalgic in the sense of like I miss like this honeymoon cupcake stage, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be number one grateful for the real parts of life that I
Exactly.
get to enjoy with my partner, and number two, that I choose to give up, like kind of like how Jesse's character was talking about how he's like, oh, I'm gonna kind of be a cynic and say like, I already know how you're gonna respond in the situation. I know exactly how you're gonna be. I know everything about you.
But
I'm
the
gonna
thing,
use it against you.
but the thing is also we can't blame the guy. He just got off
Completely.
a long-term relationship, and then he just kind of got fucking backsided. Which
Yeah, he was totally ignored and left on the side, and then just dumped
yeah,
in another country.
Wait, was she a rebound?
No, I don't think so.
no, because he already had been there.
Does
a
that
couple
ruin it
weeks.
for you, Alex?
I mean,
Oh my
personally,
God.
looking at her, Julie Delpy, she's just this beautiful.
No,
angel,
I don't
man.
think it was the case. It didn't seem like he was out looking for love.
She
It's
wouldn't be
just-
able to
he just
rebound
so
anybody.
Yeah, he
No.
just so happens to like come across it. But
And that's
I mean,
actually I wanted to
George,
talk
how
about.
do you know the term rebound?
Whoa.
because I've been dumped a lot.
Whoa.
I would never do that to you. But I wanted to talk about actually my favorite scene too. Like the scene that I think I really like that pulled at my heartstrings too is when they go to the record shop and they start looking at the
Mhm.
records, and then they get like the zero dialogue where they're listening to the song, and like honestly like I couldn't tell you what the lyrics were of that song. I couldn't tell you what the song was about.
Oh,
Because-
I actually, I was.
Because
Lyrics were nice.
for me in that moment, it's like it's not that song wasn't great. It's just that all I can do is focus, and I think it was so well like beautifully directed and so beautifully like shot. Them trying to get away with not being caught looking at each other,
Oh, yeah,
and the
yeah.
way they, especially Celine. Oh my God, she was so good at it. And like I'm just gonna point out, like I don't think I've ever seen an actress look at someone and look so passionately in love as her. Like, you know, and
It's it's her
It's
genuine
genuine.
personality. Yeah,
it looks
That's the kind of shit that makes you melt, man.
it looks effortless the way that she looks at him. Like that's the way that I'd like to feel that I'm looked at by my partner.
And that's the magic
I
that
look
you
at you
see.
like that.
Yeah, we all do
Hey,
with them cheeks.
Yeah, but I love how
you
they
guys
were
look at
both
my
just
cheeks like that. Let's be honest.
sitting in comfortable silence. I
Oh,
agree,
yeah.
Nick.
Oh,
And then
comfortable
he's just
silence.
there like fucking twiddling his thumbs. He knows he wants to look at her. She's just fucking playing with her hair and shit. And then you just see it. You're like, ah.
Yeah, it's a very
been-
soft,
we-
exciting,
Yeah,
yeah.
moment.
It's like
you know?
puppy love perfectly.
I think
Yeah.
when you can sit comfortably in silence with your other partner,
Oh,
that's when you know you're
100%.
like, hey, because if it feels awkward, then it's like, you got to start questioning a
There's
little bit,
something
bud.
there.
Like, hey, is this even
Yeah,
the right
actually,
person?
that's a that's a marker for me. Like, if I can sit in silence with somebody that I care about, you know, then I know that like we're good. But if I feel
Absolutely.
awkward or I feel like I gotta say something to break the silence,
No.
then I know like the relationship isn't there or if it will be there.
Yeah.
And that goes to anything.
No, 100%.
Lovers, friends, whatever.
Yeah. With me and Alexis.
Which
you
we
know,
should
it's
all
both, but,
yeah.
we
you know.
should all have a boys trip soon. But
You know, hey, we need to plan that. But
Yeah, yeah. Off the record.
Isaac, do you have a favorite scene?
my favorite scene was when
People
they,
might track us down,
Yeah.
trying to show up.
I think my
Our
favorite
two
scene.
fans.
Shut the fuck up, George.
You're
is
starting to get
why-
emotional. Fuck.
This is why Ariel fucking yells at you every fucking day. Okay, pay attention.
Ariel, if you're listening,
Anyways, go ahead, Isaac.
I'm sorry.
She's gonna
He's
put the
right.
comment. He's like, he's fucking right.
Isaac, continue, please.
Okay. My favorite scene, I think, is when they have that bottle of wine and they're just laying down and looking at the stars. Because I feel like I've had a similar scenario happen with me and Michelle. Where we were in Yakima and we were like,
Sorry.
Yakima.
Sorry. Excuse me.
Also, you just stole my favorite scene. You just.
No, I didn't, because you didn't speak up, bitch. Okay. And we were laying down like in Yakima in this like random ass park that my cousin brought us to, and like we were kind of like at an angle and we were just looking at the stars and stuff, and then it was like literally like out of a movie. Like it was so late at night that the fucking irrigation system turned on and we all got wet, like running up the hill and like falling down and sliding into a fucking like to go back to her car and shit.
You're like, oh my god, I'm so wet.
We were like so wet, we were all smoking weed and shit. It was a good time, man.
Sorry, what? The devil's lettuce?
A devil's lettuce.
We don't do that.
And I kind of have that like when I saw this movie again today with you guys, I kind of got a little nostalgic for that one moment that I had with her. So yeah,
Absolutely.
And that's what's beautiful about this is that I feel like they were talking about. Celine said something about how there's magic, between people as they're getting to know each other, and something's like
That's where
being
God
created,
truly
and
exists.
that's where God truly exists, right?
Mhm.
And I feel like that happens with us watching the movie because there's like something going on between us and that experience that we're watching, where we can, in a way, kind of like re-experience what we felt in those moments.
yeah, at just different periods of time, like
Mhm.
I feel like I think we're all in long-term relationships at this point in time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost on my 10th year.
What about you, Alexis? What was your favorite scene?
I don't know. It's hard. I like the scene. I think I like the scene at the end when they're saying goodbye to each other, but they're like, I feel like they're on the verge of tears because that feels so real.
It
That
felt
felt so real.
fucking emotional.
Yeah, and she's kind of like
She looks like she's
frantic.
like trying so hard to contain herself from grabbing him. And I love the way that, dude, I'm telling you, like, it pisses me off that Julie Delpy isn't like a more famous like actress, because like she played this shit so well.
Yeah, I question it if that's acting.
Yeah.
Like, it just seems like maybe they did have those feelings for each other, but I
Well,
mean,
you-
obviously they didn't.
You
but-
think about the fact that like like Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, they met in filming Green Lantern. They fell in love. They got married, and what they have is beautiful, and honestly look like an amazing Hollywood couple. And you hear a lot of different similar stories like that. It is extremely shocking that didn't happen in this movie. And distance
Yeah.
could have played because she's truly a French actress and he's an American actor, and that 100% makes sense.
The
But I'd
real
ha-
life portion of it.
Dude, I'd have to imagine that if she lived in America and she was just like that, there's no way that you can't fall in love with
That's
her.
one thing that I find a little scary when it comes to like let's say your partner is in the film industry and then they play a role like this, and it's like how it would be so difficult to play something like this without
Yeah.
having real emotion and feelings involved. Because like look at Mr. and Mrs. Smith, fucking Angelina Jolie,
Brangelina.
yeah, Brangelina, bro. Obviously the
It went on for
chemistry
like
was
what
insane.
10-15 years too.
It didn't end very well.
No,
The boy
of
didn't
course,
start well.
of course. But what I'm saying is like, how can
No,
you
it
play a
didn't.
role like that without
He left
actually
fucking Jennifer Aniston like
Yeah.
immediately after.
Aniston.
There you go, Aniston.
So, a question for you, Alexis. I don't know if this is a little sensitive, but what do you feel about stuff like that in the industry? I don't know, like if you got a role, and you have to play somebody's husband and fall in love potentially, like.
Yeah, I mean, as somebody whose partner, wants to pursue that career, you want them to do the best job that they could possibly do, and if it means them, acting so in love, where you question if it's acting or not, like that's tough.
That's
That's
scary,
tough.
no?
But at the end of the day, when the cameras are off, you got to expect that those feelings are off too.
Yeah, and you got to think that like the same way that this shows them willing to have deep conversations, you can have real conversations. In real love, you have conversations that include talking about the fact that you're like, hey, I just hope that if you're going to bring those super strong, passionate emotions, you understand that you might be having a body in front of you, but who you're seeing is me. And who you should be seeing is me. Like, if you have to
Yeah.
picture my face on the partner that you're acting with in order to really sell it, I want you to be the best at your craft that you could possibly be. But I don't ever want you to replace that image of me with the actual person across from you.
Yeah,
that's
I
work.
think if I had the choice, though, I'd be like, I'd prefer like if you didn't even have to do certain things like that. But obviously, sometimes it's like, hey, this could make or break
Absolutely.
their career potentially, or but also the relationship. So it's
And I think
like,
that there's something beautiful about that type of jealousy and that type, because that's what it is. I mean, it's the idea of like, I don't ever want my partner to feel that way about anybody else or think about way about anybody else. But I think that that's also where how secure you feel in your relationship, where you can be like, I know they're acting, and I know that what I have with my partner is so special that nobody could ever take that over.
yeah, I think you just kind of have to separate yourself from it. But also, it's like you can't help be human.
Absolutely.
And like
Absolutely.
still.
You still have emotion, like, and you imagine going to the premiere, you see that shit, and like, fuck.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you have to be a special kind of person to have like a partner.
All right. So, because the movie's so relatable, I want to put ourselves like literally in their shoes. So, if you guys were put in that situation where, you meet this wonderful person and you have the chance to either walk away or try to experience, a day with them, in this foreign country, foreign land, would you guys do it?
Just talking for me personally, I don't think I would walk away immediately, because I feel like that heartbreak of like you just spent.
You're a pussy.
You're fucking
No, dude. Honestly, I think that's something that would torture.
little
that's-
fucking fruit cup.
No, that's like the things that torture you for the rest of your life, dude. That's like the shit that you're gonna think about, like when you're 20 years in your marriage, and you're like,
Yeah,
where is
but-
that chick
all
now?
right, well,
and
what's-
if we watch the second movie, that's exactly what happens.
What if
Well,
Hey,
hey,
spoiler, spoiler,
hey,
spoiler,
I haven't
spoiler.
seen it yet, you fucker.
Come on.
But also, you're gonna dwell on what could have been for the rest of your life.
I'd rather dwell what could have been instead of dwell of what actually happened.
What could have kept going?
Yeah, I think that's a lot. It's a lot less painful to me.
Well, let's put it in this perspective. What if it was with your current partner and you see her out there?
Would you risk it?
And then you could potentially make it work if you really wanted
meeting
to.
her for the first time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's such a complex question. It would all have to go back to how did stuff, like, let's say my current partner, what happened in that train car,
Well, no, all right. Let's put it into perspective. Knowing everything you know now about her, would you go back and try to approach her and do it?
100%.
And then, all right. So obviously,
but-
and
but
then
It's-
without
you made it too
knowing,
easy.
just
You made it too easy.
going in blind. That's why I want to hear both. Like, what's the difference?
well, no, but you can't go in blind because now.
Wait, here, let's frame it this way.
Okay.
Do you guys remember meeting your partner for the first time?
Absolutely.
'Cause I
Yeah.
remember when I met my wife.
Good answer,
we
Nick.
clicked,
Good answer.
We clicked instantly.
Yeah.
Now imagine that setting, but in the setting of the movie.
It's interesting for me because when I met my partner for the first time, she was spoken for, and I was
Nick, you
Whoa.
dog.
and I was
Whoa.
honestly, and I was
We
still
got a scoop, guys. We got a scoop.
no, I
Oh,
mean, what I was
shit.
gonna say was like it kind of felt to me like I fell in love with her character, and like because I I'm not a homewrecker, and I've never.
I was
ever-
about to say, I was like,
No, like-
Nick, you little fucking.
No, what I
Ooh.
was gonna say was like I've never once appreciated or respected the type of people who would go after somebody who was taken, and like the second that I found out that about her, I kind of ruled her off as like that option completely.
But
I think there was always still like a part where I was falling.
That's
for
what
her.
I'm saying. But like, did you instigate anything to kind
No,
of like
actually, I like.
romanticize it a little bit?
No, he made it very easy by being a piece of shit, you know. So
Oh,
thanks
yeah,
to him.
you
But
love to see it, you love to see
exactly,
it.
love to see it. Worked out for me.
So imagine you're on a bus and you meet your partner, and they're like, hey, like I think you're really cool, this and that, but I kind of got a boyfriend. But I'd be
See,
down to go out, like spend a day with you.
and that's
First
the
of
thing,
all,
right?
that would turn me off for it right away.
Yeah,
If it's
100%.
like,
Yeah,
if she's
like-
like, hey, I have a boyfriend,
Because-
and then she's still pursuing you, then it's like,
Yeah, it's
ah,
kinda-
that's,
it doesn't
that's a
feel
no
good.
go.
Well,
for
that's the kind of thing that I was getting to, right? Is like I fell in love with her as a friend because honestly, like my girlfriend became my friend way before, and she became one of my closest friends way before we ever dated, and it was only after.
So when they
that-
say, oh, he's just a friend, he's just a friend.
Honestly,
it's Nick.
it's
It's Nick.
super
Surprise,
sad.
bitch.
It was super funny that she actually was telling her boyfriend like it's just my friend, dude. But like,
some guy.
but I 100%. We never. I never made a move on her. I never tried anything because
She
that
saw them
wasn't-
cheeks and she was like,
hey, bro, I got what I got, and I can't. I'm gonna own up to it. But
Nick, you
in
got a
the movie-
fucking dump truck, my friend.
In the movie, they don't even like bring up the subject of like, are you with somebody? Were you
No,
with somebody
it-
until like way later?
like
in
3/4
day.
of the way in the movie.
Yeah, like by
But-
then it's too late to pull
But
out.
but
I think if you're going that far and you feel a vibe that I don't think a person that is in a relationship would go towards.
Yeah, like it wouldn't matter at that point.
Yeah.
whatever truth is.
what I think more than anything too is if you think about like because like if you put yourself in that mindset, you also have to put yourself in like the real mindset that Jesse was feeling, which is as a man, like if you had just gotten your heart broken, if you were just devastated by that, like 100%, sucks to say it, I don't think he would have cared if she was spoken for, because I think that he probably felt some type of way that maybe his girlfriend was already moving on with one of the 4 or 5 guys he had named that he had dinner with her and him,
Yeah.
you know.
I think he would have cared because if not, he wouldn't have asked the question.
Well, I mean,
You
I
know?
think he asked it afterwards because I think at the beginning he didn't care enough, but towards the end his humanity started. Like think of it this way, right? Like when you're just kind of like, like fuck it, like I want to do something fun, and like this woman's beautiful, she's gorgeous, and she's smart and intelligent, and like I'm liking her. But then eventually, once like the whole like like my lust for you or like my imagination takes over, and at the beginning that's all that you're thinking about, it dies down and you start to actually think about like, oh shit, like this woman's fucking awesome, and like I'm connecting with her and I like talking to her and she's gorgeous, but there's so much to this connection that I have that all of a sudden it is burning at him where he's like, shit, like are you spoken
so
for her?
you think in the beginning he was just kind of like going with the flow?
At the
Whatever.
beginning
He
it
didn't
was-
think
Yeah,
was-
he was
yeah,
like
it was very
he
casual.
went very innocent. Like there was, I don't think he had any malintentions. He just saw a beautiful girl, and he was just like, you know what, I'm gonna go have a.
That's what's nice about it. You see it flourish.
Exactly.
Like, in the beginning, it's like go in expecting nothing to come of it, and
Well,
the
even
next
his
thing you know,
body
he's
language,
like, yeah, they're at the train scene at the end, where it's like, I don't want to go.
Yeah, like they have to rip each other off. Like,
Yeah.
like to leave.
it was gorgeous.
Would you do it, George? Would you have gone through something?
Yeah,
like
if it was my current partner, 100%, I think I would have gone for it. I mean, that it's funny enough. I really like the story that I have with my my girlfriend because like the way we met, I thought was great. I literally went out on a night with some friends, and they were playing ping pong, and it was 3 of us. So I was by myself, and literally her dad, he challenges me to play. And then we started playing, and I beat him. And then he was just so impressed. He was like, "Hey, like, I want to introduce you to somebody." He's like, my daughter will kick your ass because she's really good ping pong player. And then like he introduces me to her, and then like we just hit it
boom.
off right away. Yeah,
because
Beautiful.
of ping pong, because of being a ping pong champion.
because because
Your daughter.
Hey guys, play some fucking ping pong.
Hey, what
trust
stick
me.
were you using?
So George is dating Forrest Gump, is what he's trying to say.
No, but she whoops my ass every single time. I haven't beat her more than once, I think, at ping pong. Or yeah, it's insane. But I think that similar situation, if I would have met her and seen her like this, I think I would go for it nonetheless, just because like I already know the love and everything would be there from the start. Obviously, it would be difficult to say goodbye, but I think we would try to make it work nonetheless.
Mhm.
You know. Unfortunately, this one ends a little tragic. They're like see each
I
other in
know.
5 years, and then from 5 years it goes to 1, and then 6 months. But even then, I don't know if I'd be able to fucking wait that long. To
yeah,
I would just drop everything. I'm like, yo, like either you're moving fucking back home with me, or I'm going to
Well,
you.
actually,
you know?
I'm curious because the 3 of us have already seen the trilogy, and so I want to know what you think. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think they meet back up in 6 months?
I think life probably happens, and they don't end up together the way that they wanted, but somehow end up further down in life,
Reconnecting.
refinding. Because I think life's not that simple. 6 months is a long amount of time. People change, situations change. Whether it's like something that maybe like financially he can't afford to do it, or like he starts his own life, she starts their own life. If you're spending 6 months away from someone like that, the chances are slim. So
Well,
I think
that's actually a big gamble. Now that I think about it, yeah, like you're waiting 6 months to meet this girl. Like
That's
you're spending a
half a
ton
fucking
of money
year.
going to a
Well,
different country.
Then let's be real for a second. We all love our partners with a capital L, and we're not arguing and contesting that. So if you're hearing this,
Nick,
this
you
isn't
got a
personal.
little something on your nose. I think it's a little brown. I
No,
don't know.
I'm saying this because I want us to take our
Yeah.
nose out of their asses for a second and say this. All right, we're all talking about the time that we've spent, and this is why we're saying yes, 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 and yes,
Yeah.
emphatically. But Isaac, I feel like, was the only one who was kind of like, I have my reservations. So I'm not talking,
'Cause
you know,
it is a
I'm not
romantic-
talking months or years into the relationship. I'm talking about after your first date, your first time, like getting that opportunity to actually literally listen and have that romantic connection with your partner. Could you and would you book a ticket back to Vienna 6 months later? Would you show up? You made a
Yeah,
compromise.
Well, absolutely. Why wouldn't I?
You,
I
you-
mean,
so you would think that after your first date with your partner, after you guys played ping pong, like
I would do everything in my power to go back to
Well,
it and try to.
I'll I think when in my first date that I had with Michelle, I wanted to hang out with her the next day. So if it wouldn't have been, I guess, wait 6 months, I would have been like, you know what, I'm going to Paris in a week's time, because that's where she lived, and I'm like, if that was really your interest, and like,
but
for
we
him,
also have to take
Okay,
apart
but look-
our ability to go. Like, you know how he didn't just wait 6 months. I don't think he actually waited 6 months because he couldn't. I think number one is like we have the opportunity to text and call each other. They didn't have that back then in the 90s.
No.
So you couldn't, right? There was no way to give each other addresses and
Yeah,
stuff
so
fast
much
enough.
more
That's
difficult at
literally
that
why
time.
they're like, he's like, all right, stop 6. What time?
Exactly.
Where?
Yeah.
Oh wait, yesterday
So
or
if you
today.
so if you had to wait, not like as much as my passion would also drive me to make sure I could see my girlfriend the next day. I agree with you, Gator, and I think you're such a romantic for that. But if my passion couldn't, if there was not a damn thing I could do to make, but the only thing I could do truly for myself was wait 6 months to show up in Vienna at Stop 6 at 6 p.m. on December 16th. Would you go?
Yeah, 100%. But I think for me to be more realistic is like, okay, why couldn't they meet up?
Probably financial things.
No,
Yeah,
no. I'm not talking about financial. They already set the date. I'm okay with the date. Like, let's meet 6 months later.
December
But-
16th.
But why does it have to be Vienna? Like, why can't they meet? Hey,
Because that's the area that they know.
I don't think they just didn't have enough time to explain where in Paris to meet up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or-
the
they're,
train
they're,
was
they're
literally
rushed.
leaving.
They're rushed.
Yeah.
Like, she's
like
gotta
the
go,
train
he's-
was getting ready to leave. I think it was just because of the rush.
okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a qualm, like, for me.
Well, I think if they would have opened up their feelings and admitted to each other that they wanted to see each other sooner, they could have avoided that. And they could have said, like, you know what, let's fucking cut the bullshit. I'm feeling something for you that I haven't felt in a long time, and vice versa.
Yeah, but they're dumb young adults, so
I mean, they make mistakes. That's what we're supposed to do.
Because he still took a train to go to Austria instead of like, hey, I'm gonna go to fucking, because that's where his flight was gonna go off, right?
No, he had to take a bus ride from Vienna.
Yeah, to Austria, so
Yeah.
you can take a flight back to the U.S. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
all right. Now that
Wait. Are we done with this question?
no,
Well-
I was gonna ask that
Oh,
same question to you because you really haven't answered.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah, you haven't
you're the
said if you would do it.
you're the guy that's actually married,
yeah.
and you've had
Well, I
a
mean,
couple.
that's kind of a tone. I think you would say.
Well, I mean,
I mean-
okay. Like, feel like if we were put in a situation similar to this movie, I think we would, like, go through this like whirlwind romance, Like, and so, but making that commitment, will I see you again in 6 months? Like that's hard, especially early 20s where you got shit to do, and then I don't know, like maybe either that distance of time will make the want to see you even stronger, or it'll weaken it.
Yeah, I think this the realistic person in me thinks that, especially younger, like if you went back like a couple years, I think I would be so worried about being let down and be so worried that the person across from me wouldn't show, and to just
Well,
look like a fool.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I think as Ethan's character in this movie, he has to make the bigger compromise, or
Absolutely.
and the bigger sacrifice,
Yeah.
because for her it's only
A bus ride away, or a train
a
ride
train
away.
ride to from here to Vienna, which I don't know how long that is, but still he has to literally fly all the way across the country
Yeah.
and try to figure out. all right, what jobs do I have to take here in the next 6 months?
And let me ask something, because if I was in that situation, of course I'd come back home and like talk to you guys and be like, dude, what do you guys think? Like, should I do it? Should I not?
Yeah.
Like, what would you guys say?
Fucking idiot, bro.
Yeah.
Like, don't.
I would
you
I would
tell me not
immediately
to do
think
it,
you're
right?
stupid.
I'd be like, dumbass, why'd you let it go?
No, as much as I'm a romantic, I'd be like, shit, dude, are you certain she's gonna come? Are
See,
you
yeah.
certain she's gonna show
I
up?
think you guys say that, but like, I don't know. I mean, like you guys said, you guys have been in situations like that before. So like, what was the deterrent? You know, like why didn't you follow through with it or whatever?
Mm-hmm. Well, Isaac, would you have told us no?
I would have said no.
Don't go for it. Don't see this girl in 6 months.
Yeah, because again, it's again, you see this girl in 6 months, and what's gonna happen?
Now what?
And now what? Like,
Yeah.
you're gonna travel over there. You're for whatever. We don't know what's happened between here and 6 months, as we'll see when the movie progresses. I think the movie.
Because another assumption that these two characters are making is that in 6 months we will be able to replicate this feeling again, and continue from where we left off on.
I think I would want to go just to reaffirm my feelings, to see if like, oh, was it real or was it an infatuation with the
And
moment?
I think that's the
and
difference between
situation?
you and I, is that I'm too afraid that I would be left hanging.
No,
and
I'm
you're
right.
and you're too afraid to not be the person who commits.
Yeah.
You're like, I will be the one who
No,
commits.
I would want to go 100% because I
And-
want to have those things reaffirmed, and then also, if it is like, holy shit, this is the person that I thought she was, then it's like, fuck. Then we're gonna do whatever we can to
Whatever it
try to
takes.
make
Yeah.
this.
It's like,
But
this
it's
is
like
worth it.
24 hours is a long time to spend with someone, and it also brings up the point like, shit, could you have done this with anyone else? Like.
Yeah.
And if you
Honestly.
could have, then you
Well,
probably would have been with that person.
No,
So
but
it's like,
I think it's I think what makes that moment possible is the space, the ambiance, everything has to go right for something like that to happen, right? And when you try to recreate that 6 months from now, are you gonna be able to do that? Because it's no longer you're meeting that good looking stranger in the train that so happens to have an interesting factoid or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
yeah, but that's my whole point. Wouldn't you want to know?
I'm not saying
Don't
that
you know me by now?
yeah, I
See, Gator, that's the whole thing. It's like if you don't
No,
go,
no.
you're not even gonna know.
no,
if that's
I
the
know,
case.
but that's not. It's not that I don't want to know. I'm just saying what's gonna happen after that. Like, let's say you could only be there for a week's time for whatever reason.
The world's your oyster,
Is the
Gator.
risk worth it?
Yeah, and
That's
and
the
we gotta think about it. We're in the 90s at this time. Technology isn't there to just have like people do now, where we have FaceTime, where we have like
Yeah.
we can.
Guys,
But let's keep it in the mindset of the 90s.
Love is always worth it. I think that end of the day, like, why not take that risk? Why not do that? Shit, life's too fucking short to be, walking over eggshells and seeing like, like it's not even worth it because who knows, if it's not gonna work out or work out. Who fucking cares? That's the whole point. Go fucking see if that's the case or not, and like how you actually feel. But if you're giving yourself like the fucking doubt from the get-go, it's like you're never gonna fucking know it. Like it's
Yeah.
why live so scared of what could be, when you can just be like, take hold of whatever you want to
Just
happen.
find out.
See, but
Yeah.
for me, I don't feel like that's living your life. That's living in an illusion, because you don't know. In those 6 months, you can again find
I
the
think,
other person that could.
no, I know, but like,
because
dude,
you're asking for a big commitment here in 6 months. You're asking yourself.
crazier things have happened in life. I think like something like that is scary, but shit, I look at it from the perspective of like, all right, for example, my parents, they fucking dropped everything, their family, lives, everything, moved to a completely different country and just took a fucking risk.
Yeah.
And that's scary as hell. But it's like, why can't you say that, you're capable of doing things like that? Like, one time I took a trip across the U.S. for like 8 months. I was gone for like a year, literally, and I just packed my shit
Yeah,
and
you just
dipped.
left us behind.
Hey, you piece of shit.
Yeah, they still resent me for it. But guess what? Those times I cherish and hold, close and dear to myself,
course.
just because
Of course you should.
those are experiences where I was like, holy fuck, I've been living in California my entire life, and I feel like I had never really gone out and explored the world. And I got to see so many different aspects of life and culture and different things. Granted, I was still in the U.S., but it was completely different than what I knew what was home. And I would have never had those experiences if I didn't just fuck it and say fuck it and, go out and do
Yeah.
it. So,
And I think I want to reassure this, even if I don't always believe it for myself and I'm too hard on myself. But because I have a little brother, I want to remind people that your 20s are for fucking up. You're
Yeah,
not supposed to be
100%.
perfect.
No.
And I think that George has done that better than us in the sense that
Mhm.
like Like you have, not that you fucked up more than us. It's more of
I
a,
fucked up a lot.
I mean,
Believe me,
honestly,
you
but
don't get-
more
gotta
than
give me
anything,
that.
you guys have taken different risks that I don't know if all three of you guys have taken risks that I don't know if I could feel comfortable and confident to take myself. And I think that's what more people should do, is not be afraid to take those risks. And
Mhm.
and you know what? To some extent, I think that is beautiful that George would show up, because
Yeah.
I might be too afraid, but you're right. At 40 years old, I might be like, shit, if I would have shown up, how come my life would be? But you that showed up, even if you showed up alone and you were like, fuck, it didn't happen, you never have to wake up and think.
Yeah, I'll
I
tell you
fucked up.
what. Even if she did, I would make the best of it and be like, you know what?
Absolutely.
Here's another fucking adventure
He's like,
in Vienna.
I'm back at it again.
All right, let's
go.
get on this train. Who's the
Same
next?
situation.
All right, let's see.
I want to keep this question going once we watch the second one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's hold this question. Absolutely.
Let's hold this question because
Damn,
I
you
feel
fuckers have already seen it, so
Yeah.
but it's gonna hit me harder. So don't fucking spoil it for me.
No, I want to ask you this exact same question in the next one, but I think, again going back to what Nick said, we all have taken different risks, and I think it's like obviously take risks at whatever you're comfortable with, but make sure you're taking a risk.
I think we're all really different people, but I think that's one of the reasons why we're like such close friends too, because it's like
Yeah.
we're all kind of like we all live vicariously through one another, you know? Because
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
like I see Gator and I'm like, shit, that's what I should have done. And then I see Nick and like I kind of see a little bit more myself in him, and then like Alexis went completely 360 than what I did. He's like a family man, fucking,
doesn't
got
have
a
kids,
career,
doesn't have-
everything.
No kids.
but and I think we could all do that with each other. Like I wish I would have had like those 8 months where like I decided to put for myself and travel the
Yeah,
country.
same here.
And
Yeah.
find who you
Like
are.
I wish I was more like Nick, when I would have just spent like 5 years at school and then gotten it done that way.
Four. Come on.
Four. There you go.
You
Four.
think I'm
Yeah, he
stupid?
did it on time.
Yeah.
This guy's actually smart.
Yeah, he went for it, and then or like something like Alexis, like dude, like what would that being like? Already knowing you have your forever partner like locked in, like because
Yeah.
he's the only
Pretty
one that's
sweet.
married. Like we all know that we love our partners and we see ourselves with
Getting
our partners
there.
in getting there, but he's there,
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
so that's kind of the thing that we all going with what Jordan says, we all vicariously live through each other.
Speaking of like our partners,
Emphasis
and
on the
stuff
bi.
like this,
Um,
I think the only thing about this movie before we get to Letterboxd that I wanted to talk about was the fact that they ended up having sex. I mean, I think it actually spoke to me a lot. Sex, I think, to all of us is important, as humans in different ways. But I really did understand what she was saying by trying to make sure that this didn't become just some lead up to having sex and fulfilling some sort of fantasy.
Yeah,
Especially
she was kind of trying to keep it pure.
Yeah, and I think she was like, no, I want this to mean something, and I don't want to just be a tick on your bucket list one day of saying like I had some crazy sexual experience
with that European
with
girl.
the European
Yeah,
girl.
French girl.
Yeah, no, I think it's funny because like when they're talking, laying down, and then she's like, "Oh, I don't want to have sex because like we're not gonna see each other again." And then he's like, "No, we're gonna see each other.
Yeah.
We'll make it happen. We'll
No.
make it happen."
That is the most authentic male response.
Honestly,
And,
I was like,
she was like, I don't want you to say that just to get laid.
Yeah,
no,
it's
no,
like
no,
yeah.
I think honestly I wouldn't have responded like the way Ethan would, because I've had
Jesse.
or Jesse, yeah, right.
He's getting a little desperate.
No, like I think I wouldn't have gone through with it, man, because I've had I guess different experiences with like that stuff. So like when I give myself to somebody else, like I wanted to be with somebody else.
Yeah, tell us more, Isaac.
Dude, honestly, dude, I could tell you guys some shit, but like it just never worked out for me like that. So
you would have preferred to keep the purity.
yeah, I wouldn't have gone through with it, because I feel like if you're gonna go through that next step, it gotta be with somebody that you really care about,
Well,
And-
I mean, I think
but then
regardless,
like
yeah.
it does go crazy with that person.
I think I could have done with or without it, because one, the physical nature of having intercourse, like I feel like brings you closer to an individual. So in a in a way, I think it would have kind of
the
like
proper term.
really
Coitus.
solidified the infatuation with this person. But at the same time, I could have done without it, where it's like, hey, I know this is a stranger. I know that it's like it might just seem like that's all you're trying to get from it, physical gratification. So if that's the way she saw it, I would have been like, yeah, it doesn't matter. It's not about the physical aspect. Like, if you really enjoy this person's company and you're not just there for the physical aspect, then it shouldn't matter. But definitely in that situation, it's difficult, because it's like, shit, you might never see them
This might be
again.
it.
So yeah, it's like, I don't know. I think for me, it doesn't matter whether or not they would have had sex, but I can see how it does matter to a lot of people.
What I didn't
So-
what I didn't appreciate was when Jesse's character just like he did that 180 real quick, where instead of him really thinking about what's gonna happen with this girl, he went primal instead of like literally he was thinking with his dick.
This guy was thinking it was
he's a
dead,
horny
but
kid.
I
you
think
gotta
it
also
was
realize
authentic.
he
Yeah.
got dumped and he was waiting like fucking 6 months or whatever to go.
It
see
was a
this
year,
girl.
dude.
Oh, he was waiting a year
Yeah, 'cause
to
he-
go
she
see
went-
his girl in Madrid and got dumped. So he's
Yeah.
probably like fucking feral
Yeah,
right now.
he is.
No,
That's true.
absolutely.
But
And I think for me, I'm a very physical person. Like physical touch
Ooh,
is my love
believe
language.
oh,
it.
dude, I'm right there with
Believe
you.
it.
I'm right there with
But
you.
I don't
buddy.
even mean that just sexually. Like physical touch is very big for me. So I think, but trying to put myself in that position, I would care more that we would both be able to look back on this experience, whether it's a forever partner or a fleeting moment that I can think back on in my life, and see this as a positive. So the way that Celine like put it and said like I don't want that to happen. I think that the way that it played out, I wouldn't probably be as pushy as Ethan, even though he made a joke and said like, "Oh, don't worry, I'll go see you definitely now." All of a sudden, I'm very
All of a
motivated to
sudden,
come back.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I just feel like how it happened wasn't organic, as sometimes when you have intimate relations with your partner, it
feels
just
a little,
happens.
It feels a little bit forced. from
Yeah,
Jet-
and
from
I
his
just-
side.
But that's
I'm-
just the kind of guy that he was.
It was also
Yeah.
the 90s, so
yeah, and I think he pulled back, and I think towards the end, and I think him pulling back allowed her to feel comfortable enough to make that decision.
Yeah.
And I think she seemed like definitely a feminist and very sex positive and stuff like that, which is great for her. But I definitely would not want my partner to in that position be thinking that this would ever be about that. So I probably would pull off just because I'd rather be like, hey, you know
Mhm.
what? I want to remember this kindly,
like,
and I want you to remember this
and
kindly.
it might be a positive experience for you now and in the future, but like, do you really want to think back? Maybe her in like 10, 20 years, she's like, oh, dude, I just fucked this weird sleazy dude from America. Like, I don't want that.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
want that on my.
Yeah, having sex in that situation is a big risk.
Yeah.
Because either the guy or the girl are gonna be like, all right, well, that was it, I'm done, or kind of like, or it could still stay strong.
Let's be honest. It's most likely the guy that's gonna be like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's always more likely that the dude's gonna be like, all right, I got that. I don't have anything to wonder about anymore, so I don't
Yeah.
need to come back in 6 months.
Yeah, first impressions are important. So I also think that's a factor when it's like, hey, like, are you gonna just hook up with a stranger and have a one night stand, or is it like actually something that's leading towards something else?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing though. Like, I think one night stands are the worst kind of intimacy. Like, it's honestly not something that you feel proud of half the time or feel comfortable with. You're like, sometimes you look back and you're like, why the fuck did I do that? Like, that's horrible.
Yeah.
So definitely that's one aspect of it, but also, like I mentioned, I think that where they were at, they were already so close and felt like there was a connection between them that it didn't matter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
going back to the previous question. I don't know. Did we ask you, Nick, what would you do if you were in that same situation?
yeah, he said he wouldn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would
Go.
just be afraid. I'm
Okay.
not gonna lie. I'd be afraid to come back in
Okay.
6 months. I don't know if I could. I want to tell myself that, like, knowing what I know about my partner, I love her enough that I would risk anything for that.
Yeah.
But I got to be honest. I mean, especially like I've been in situations where I was heartbroken, and I don't know. Like, it was really hard for me. I don't
Yeah.
know if I could feel like
No, I'm
the confidence to think,
100%. No, I'm right there with you.
like to be left like it's kind of like it seems like a very toned down version of being left at the altar if you show up in 6 months and they don't.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, but I could feel like it would break me in a similar
Yeah.
way. So yeah, I don't know.
The fear of not knowing would hurt me more.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm fucking going, bro.
And dude, I'm
showing
not gonna lie.
up.
There's a part of me that wishes I was you in that situation.
Oh, dude. 100%.
I'd want to be you.
But I personally wouldn't. I'm right there with Nick. I
I-
wouldn't be able to.
I'll tell you what, Nick. I'm a risk taker, and I like doing shit like that. But at the same time, it cuts deep. There's some certain instances where I'm like, holy fuck, that was a terrible
Brutal.
situation
Oh,
that
yeah.
I wish I wouldn't have put myself in. However, the highlights from that, the stuff that I did that I was like, I can't believe I fucking did that. But a good thing I
Yeah.
did is just as gratifying,
Yeah, absolutely.
which
And-
makes up for it. So.
And again, it goes back to like, what are we comfortable with risking? You know, like,
as people.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. Well, this is a beautiful conversation, guys. Before we wrap up, I want to jump into
it's candlelit today too.
the Letterboxd.
we're
reviews.
getting fucking
Yeah.
hot and
I know,
steamy
it's- yeah,
over
it
here.
really is.
Nick's already got his pants off, but
Damn.
Just wait till the video.
Like
shows
like
up.
Nick said, he's a very physical person. Do we have an HR? I need to talk to somebody about that.
We'll figure that out.
We'll
Figure that out.
we still haven't done their corporate structure
Yeah.
yet, so we're not there yet.
All right, guys. So here we go. Couple reviews. This one is from Jeeb, Jeab. Somebody said, or this guy said, giving this movie 5 stars implies that it is a perfect movie. But let me make one thing clear: if this was a perfect movie, they would have gone to see the play about the cow.
Honestly, I was kind of bummed that they didn't get to see the play.
Yeah, I feel like that would have been interesting.
No,
They
but
hyped it up.
But I think that's a realistic thing because you like, oh, we asked this person, like, okay, we're gonna go to it. We, you know, I think we all been there when we've been in a strange city, and you're like, like last time I was in Seattle, right? We were gonna go watch a concert because we were, it was right next to the hotel. It was Ali and AJ. We're like, oh fuck, it's $45. It's literally like a block away. But then we just started. We hadn't even bought the tickets yet. They weren't fully sold out, and we just started to watch TV. And I think that was a much better bonding experience than, you know, I feel like that's life. You have the full intentions to do something, but then something else happens, and that like so supersedes like that event.
Absolutely. And to add to that, beyond the fact that like you have to be willing to let like go with the flow, it's that if they would have gone to the concert, I feel like as a filmmaker, what you're stating there is that they needed to. That was a way to fill in time. The fact that they missed the concert, for me, felt like they were so wrapped up and involved with each other, they forgot. And that is beautiful because then that means that there was no like, shit, what do we do next? It was kind of
there wasn't a gap. There wasn't no
natural. Exactly.
They just kept walking around. They're like, oh shit, let's get a snack. Let's see the interactions and stuff. You see,
Boys, time stops when I hang out with you guys and my girlfriend, of course.
Likewise.
But mostly us.
Dude, she might cut you for that because she wasn't first, dude.
All right, moving on.
No, if she was here, she would have been first. But you know, I'm talking to you guys.
Thank you, Jeeb. That was that gave us a good.
It gave us a good,
conversation right there. All right, next one is Shiloh XPR. This is a bad review right here, guys.
Oh, what? That motherfucker's
This is
crazy.
They gave it a half star.
Wow, that's
They
crazy.
said, I'm such a hater. This hits like a Hallmark Channel movie, but with people who shop at Urban Outfitters. And you know what? You can go fuck yourself. All right? Because I don't know what kind of Hallmark movies you're watching, but none of them are as good
like
as this.
Who's this guy? Who's this guy again? What's his name?
Shiloh XPR.
Shiloh. First of all, you sound like a bitter ass fucking person. Jesus
bro.
Christ. Look, man, I'm sorry you haven't felt love before, but it's real. This movie portrays it really well.
And it's out there.
It's fucking nice.
Yeah.
I think it's not a realistic thing for anyone or everyone, but I think that it hits home for us. So that's why
I can
we value it
honestly
so
say
much.
this feels like my first date with Michelle, except that I continue to see her. You know, like
Right.
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing I would say could be hallmarky about it in general is just like the overabundance of philosophical, deep.
oh,
like,
I know they were
like I get that, but again, like shit, like dude, if you just think about it for a second and just put into perspective, these are 23-year-old people who are both lost. They're coming out of university. Like everybody coming out of university is a fucking douche. Everybody has to think about life in like the most meaningful fucking ways, especially when you're just broken up with and you're just moving
I've
on.
gone
Like,
through the whole philosophical
exactly. So it's
philosophical phase.
it's not a
Dude,
Hallmark.
You didn't
I gotta
say
slap
that.
the shit out of you for that.
It's real. Like
Sorry,
it's
I had too
really
much to drink,
genuine.
guys.
So like I mean I get it. Like sometimes like it does like oh my god teenagey kind of like perspectives and vibes like in terms of like especially in the beginning how Jesse's talking, but like some of the things he's saying too, he's not like being philosophical for being philosophical sake. He's saying some shit that's real and deep, and it's sometimes it gets a little too much, but it's doesn't take away from it. In my opinion, at all.
I think it's good that they're having those conversations and portraying them realistically, because it's like we've all had like fucking countless conversations where it's like it's not really leading anywhere, and you're just kind of like talking for the sake of talk. Yeah, but it's also like it's nice. They're not having small talk, trying to like what's your name? What do you do? Where are you? Like, fuck those types of conversations. Those conversations that they're having that are just almost meaningless.
Yeah.
Can't even talk right now.
That's okay.
And
Keep
like
going.
fucking like not really saying anything but saying a lot all at once are so much better than just on the surface shit that you
Yeah.
want to talk with someone that you
From
just
the outside
met.
perspective, it sounds dumb, but when you're in it, it's really nice to share something like that, and especially talk about it with people who agree with you or are on the same way.
Yeah.
So, Shallow XPR,
Dumb as shit.
this is all in jest. We're not meaning to make fun of you, but we hate your review.
I disagree with you. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
We
I
respectfully
mean,
disagree.
look, when you fall in love, and meet that person, rewatch it, and then we'll talk again.
Yeah,
we'll
post
see.
another
Maybe your
review.
opinion will change.
Yeah. All right, next one. This is another good one. This is by Just Lily. Okay. If there's any kind of magic in this world, it must be in the attempt of understanding someone, sharing something. And this person says, I don't really think I believed in true love or romance until I watched this. Watching this broke my heart thinking about my own life, but it was its own repair. Each moment was another heartfelt one where I longed for a second as meaningful in my own life. I would do anything to meet Ethan Hawke on the train. Good night. I will never be happy again. Beautiful.
Beautiful
Review.
But you know
Should give
what?
it 5 stars.
It was a little cynic towards the end, you know. But
he was kind of a dick.
I sound like a chick. Sound like a chick.
Lily?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about Ethan Hawke.
No. I'm talking about the actual.
Did you
reviewer.
say it sounds like a chick?
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
no
a-
shit, bitch. What else did you? I mean, maybe a guy saying he
Hey man, you can't be judging people out there, man.
No, for sure. But
That's
he
crazy,
literally
man.
said her name was Lily.
Okay,
Isaac.
I didn't pay attention to the name.
But I feel like we all agree with
Oh,
her,
dude, yeah.
like, yeah, this captures what it's like to fall in love or
Yeah.
to fall into infatuation.
Like, if this is your first date and you start off your relationship, wow, what a great fucking start.
yeah.
Because you,
What a
Yeah,
fucking
absolutely.
story.
yeah,
Right? What a story. What a movie.
But
Yeah.
I think that kind of like the one thing I hope from this person is that they don't really feel like it has to be this crazy. Like, I think that we've all made it clear that we find part of our relationships in this movie.
yeah.
And like, I didn't meet my fucking girlfriend in Vienna on a train and everything like that, but that doesn't make
You
my
met her in
story.
a classroom in Cal Poly
We
Pomona.
had chemistry together.
Honestly,
That's what's up.
I mean, I can't relate with you guys because I had a great story, but I mean,
Hey,
saying
did you have
that-
chemistry
I mean,
with your
like
girlfriend?
Alexis is the one that's married and has found his love, and like
Yeah.
literally, and like you said, the way that they met wasn't necessarily in the best setting or crazy or anything.
Actually. All right, you guys want to get into the ratings? What do we think?
Wait. Last one. This is by Marcella.
Marcella.
They quote, I like to feel his eyes on me when I look away. I just love the way they make eye contact. Period. That's it. 5 star.
Honestly, I feel like sometimes I could just honestly stare.
The
at
eye
it.
contact
I
is
just-
by far. I mean,
Yeah.
that was my favorite scene. I told you.
Yeah, just watching Julie Delpy look at him. I wish she was looking at me.
You know,
I said it.
I think
Okay.
eye contact is something that I struggled with when I was younger, and like I wasn't really good at it felt confrontational to me, and I was just kind of like, I was a little bitch in high school, so I was like, eye contact always kind of like. But now I realize how important eye contact is, especially
Oh, yeah.
with your peers, friends, whatever it is. But with partners, holy shit, eye contact makes the fucking a world. Alexis, goddamn it, I'm gonna fall in love with you, bro. Stop staring at me like that. No, but it makes a world of a
I'm
difference.
gonna tell Ariel, fool, you better be
No,
careful.
her glare, it penetrates my soul. Like I literally look into her fucking icy blue eye. Well, not icy. I feel like icy has a negative connotation. Her crystal blue, beautiful eyes.
You gotta be careful.
And I'm
she
just
might hear
like,
this and cut
she's-
you.
no. I love the way that she stares at me because like I see her like in the moment when we're talking. It's literally like I'm the only person that exists. So it's
and
great.
that matters.
And it matters. It makes a huge
Yeah.
difference. But that's also one thing. Like I struggle with it because like her eyes are just like
Yeah.
very intense, but
Yeah.
it's also like in a good way.
Well, see,
Like, so-
let's be a lesson for anybody listening to us. Eye contact, crucial.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Try to
it
always
might
make
not
it-
seem that important, but it
But
really
makes you
a
look
fucking
confident.
difference.
You know, there's literally a connection there when you're looking eye to eye. It's
Espe-
it's
you know,
very
this
important.
is important, especially when you're trying to have like a serious conversation about a disgruntled between one or the other. Because if you're able to give your partner that eye contact and focus in and tell them like, hey, we're here together trying to solve a problem instead of trying to make a bigger problem of what it needs to be, it 100% changes the atmosphere.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
So yeah, no, I agree with this reviewer.
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
their gaze
Spot
at one
on,
another.
spot on.
It's something that's can make or break a relationship, and I think we all wish that our partners stared us at us that way.
I agree.
Sorry, there's some background noise.
Yeah, background.
Yeah.
All right, but now Nick, let's do the ratings.
You want me to go first?
Start it, please.
All right. I'm gonna give this a 9.5. This movie is
Whoa,
fucking
9.
Wow.
like, and I'm only saying 9.5 and not 10 because honestly, I want to reserve some 10s for a potentially different romance movie that might
Yeah.
completely break me. But this movie defined what I think a good romantic movie needs to be. This is a standard that I don't know if I don't. Besides this trilogy, honestly, I don't think I've seen a movie that could make the standard so
Yeah.
far. It is wonderful in so many ways, and it's the only cheesy thing here. Like I said, the only things that I don't always love about it is the ultra philosophical givings of Jesse. Like I think Celine's philosophical side was a lot more kind of
Realistic.
realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that just reflects his immaturity at that
Yeah.
stage in his life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I can't knock it more than a 0.5
Yeah.
out of a perfect
Yeah.
score.
Do you think that there was no level of immaturity from Celine's end, or do you think
Oh,
that she's already?
100%. But like at the same time,
Because I feel like we've been nitpicking at Jessie a lot, but I also feel like there's
Yeah.
certain
I mean, so
attributes
was
of
she.
Celine.
so she, but
Yeah.
you know, I think it's a lot more digestible her faults. You know,
Yeah.
I think that the one thing
She's
that
just so
that I
fucking
saw
cute.
was how naive and young she is. She's very like looks at everything so optimistically, and like she's still like looking at life with a very like, you know, everything is rainbows and sunshine. When it's like,
well, I don't
I feel
think
like as you get older, that
no, but I don't think she
kinda
was
changes.
because she was talking about that war that was going on like a couple hundred miles. I think it's probably the Chechen war at that time that was going on.
Chechen?
Yeah. So it's I don't think she was being naive. I think she just when she saw that things could go in a positive way, she really was for it. Like if this thing can be positive, let's make it positive. And
No,
then-
I know. All I'm saying is like when I was younger, I definitely felt like
Coney
everything.
2012?
Everything was great. I was always very optimistic and like super, happy about everything. Now I'm like getting older. I'm like, holy shit, life's not that fucking simple. Like
No.
it gets
Yeah.
tough. And
But it
there's-
can be though. It's just us that complicate.
We over complicate it for sure. But
So
I
what was
mean,
your
that's
score,
just my
George?
nitpick. A
Yeah.
little bit.
What's your score?
Shit. I really enjoyed it. I think it's one of the better romantic.
better. Wow, dude, you might as well.
No, I liked it. I liked it. I feel like my infatuation
Crazy.
with it is not as much as you guys. I really
Crazy.
enjoyed it. Also,
Because
you
you
guys.
haven't seen the trilogy.
That's the thing. I haven't seen the trilogy one,
Mm.
and then you guys have watched this multiple
And we
times.
watched
So
it in
maybe there's little
theaters, too.
innuendos
Mhm.
and stuff that I didn't pick up on the first
Yeah.
time. And then also like I mean, I liked it, but it was a little too real for me. Like I was just kind of like when I watch movies, sometimes I like them to take away from reality
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
all that. So it's frustrating seeing something like that where you're like, fuck. Like maybe
little too
you've
relatable.
experienced something.
So can you
yeah,
give it
like
a
that
fucking
before.
score, George?
So I'm explaining why my score.
You said the
is
same thing
what
like
it
3
is.
times. Okay, fuck.
God damn it, Isaac. I don't even want to fucking. I just give me your rating. I don't even want to hear the goddamn explanation. All right, fucker.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it. I want to say like 8.8.
That's fucking
8.8.
crazy, dude. That's
8.8.
fucking crazy.
Interesting. Okay.
No, it was good. It was good. I really enjoyed it. But there's other rom-coms that I prefer. So
Whoa, name him, bitch.
Oh, not yet, not
Shit.
yet.
Now you gotta
no,
fucking.
no. We're running out of time.
La La Land, fucking 500 Days of Summer, Eternal Sunshine, Scott
La La Land's a good
Pilgrim.
movie, but
I
not as
mean,
good as this
All right,
one.
they're all good.
Always Be My Maybe. Those are all great.
All right, you lost me with that one.
You,
Isaac,
you hella lost me.
That one's
Yeah.
not
I'm
bad.
a hard
I'm
9.
a Keanu.
hard 9.
Hard 9.
Hard 9.
Inches?
Bitch,
No,
mine's not even that far from yours. What the fuck?
Yeah, but it's not even in yours. The problem is that you have an 8 in front of your fucking rating.
Yeah.
It's fucking 0.2 away. All right.
Hey, that makes a difference. That's
every
your
inch
wife.
counts.
I think because I know the other movies. I'm gonna be with Isaac over here. I'm gonna give it a solid 9.
Solid 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are afraid to get it higher than that. It's fine.
Yeah, I know. Nick gave it like the highest score.
He's like,
here.
you guys are afraid of love.
no,
but
no.
I feel like Nick is also like a very big romantic.
Yeah, but for me, the second
As is
movie,
Isaac.
the second movie is an even better movie in my opinion.
I 100%.
So
agree
that's
with you.
that would be my
Hey.
my higher rating.
All right. Hey,
Can't
so
wait.
so if we round this all up together, we give it a 9.1.
That's great. That's a good review.
Yeah, that's
You're
a
running
solid
up.
review.
Running down. 9.
All right, round down. 9. Hey, there's a 7 next
He
to the
did. He
0.
didn't go to. It's because he didn't go to
He
school.
didn't finish school.
He didn't finish
Yeah.
school.
He didn't finish school.
No, we can't just give a fucking extra 0.03 for nothing.
George.
Well, you know what?
0.02.
It's between like 0.3 like deviation, so it's fine. Okay.
Here we go with the
Look, I
math.
dropped out. All right.
Hey, we're here to talk about love, not math.
Math is love.
Math is life.
All right. Well, this was a beautiful
Shrek is love.
conversation for a beautiful film, and I'm really excited to go see the next sequel next week.
And hopefully you guys are too to hear it about, because it's a movie that holds, I think, that at least 3 of us holds a very dear place in it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, this is my first time watching it, but now I definitely see what
Okay.
you guys are
It's in
talking
there.
about. It's great.
Yeah.
Alright.
Watch it with your partner, man.
Absolutely.
No,
Watch it
yeah,
with your
I'm
partner.
I'm planning
I
on. watching
honestly
it.
don't watch the second one with your partner because that one gets deep.
Yeesh.
Uh,
We'll get into
Yeah, we'll
it.
get
Hey,
into
hey, no
Alright.
spoilers. No
Next
spoilers.
week on Dragon Ball.
Well, thanks for listening. I hope you stick with us. Make sure to follow us. We're on Letterboxd, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and you can email us too at 4guys1film.
Con-
So if you
Content
guys, if we see the interaction, we'll definitely make the effort to put the effort back into you
It'll
guys.
give us the juice.
Yeah.
The juice.
All right. Well, this is 4 Guys, 1 Film.
We'll see you in the next one.